Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Eunice from Promise Digital Marketing Inc. I would love today to share with you a few elements and tips about marketing, and more specifically, the marketing that is used to build a funnel. Of course, there is a different sort of marketing, and building a funnel has some specific elements that needs to be respected, and some metrics that should be known, and some elements that needs to be instrumentalized. So with that being said, I would like to jump right into it and talk about the first item in my list, which is the customer journey map. So the customer journey map is a visual representation of process that allows marketer to describe the whole journey from beginning of a customer, from beginning to end. The marketer intentionally engineer the business in such a way that it moves people through the funnel in a very predictable manner. So with that being said, a customer journey map is built into 5 stages. Generally speaking, there is some marketers who divide it into 8 or 12, but generally speaking, the most important one is the 5 stages, which are the awareness, consideration, engagement, conversion, and loyalty. Sorry for the drawing. So awareness, of course, you cannot sell anything without making your products aware in the market. The consideration, people, the fact to see something day in, day out, they get used to it and they start considering it for purchase if it fits their dream product, or it fits their imagination, what they think about buying. The engagements, they start engaging with something, then it is a sign of that interest. And conversion, it's divided, of course, into 2. Is to convert, is to input your information, your email address and name into a funnel. But the real conversion is when you take your wallet and you buy. So just this small distinction is very important to make for people that knows about think that conversion is only when you input your email address. And the last step is the loyalty. The loyalty is very important. We'll talk about it in the lifetime value of a customer. So the best example is when a customer buys from you a product that costs $50, for example, a couple times a year for 5 years. That customer's lifetime value will be worth around $500. So that lifetime value is very important. So understanding the lifetime value of a customer allows you to predict how much you want to invest in a funnel to acquire a customer or a client. It's a very important metric that I will keep talking about throughout this representation. Of course, the difference between, you will tell me what's the difference between a funnel and the customer journey map. Well, a funnel comes to actually materialize the customer journey map vision. So a funnel, generally speaking, is represented as follow. You have an ad, for example, on Facebook or anywhere in any platform. You have the lead magnet, the upsell, the core offer, upsell, downsell, one-time offer, thank you page. Over here, we have the email sequence. So every time somebody sees your ad, they will click on the ad. Once they click on the ad, they are automatically transferred to your lead magnet, where they see the offer, the lead magnet that you're offering in terms of ebook or audio or digital or anything like that. So they click on it and they're automatically transferred, their information automatically transferred to your autoresponder. Once the autoresponder receives that information, it starts spitting all the email sequence that you already built. Just in case if you are not comfortable with these concepts, the .com Secret book with Russell Brunson talks exactly about all these elements, all these stages that a customer goes through in terms of email sequence, what you have to say, what you have not to say. So I highly recommend it in case if you didn't read it. Now, everybody goes through this funnel. Everybody has to respect disorder. The congruency in building a funnel is very important, and we'll talk about it in a second. But before that, understand that there is two couple metrics that are very important in knowing before you even build the funnel. The first one is the cost per acquisition, and the second one is average cart value. So both metrics are extremely important because that allows you to have a predictable math about how much you want to invest in your funnel. So let's say that you know that the cost to acquire one customer is $20. So that will allows you to know to put your your funnel, to set your funnel prices in terms of how much is going to cost you to acquire one single customer. So let's say that each single item in the funnel will be as follows. So you have the core offer will cost you, like for example, you will sell it for $29.99. The upsell, you're gonna be like $79.99. The downsell, $39.99. One-time offer, let's say $10. So we are here at 30 and 80, 130 and 80. So that's 110, 110, 150, and 160. So the average cart value is $160. Average cart value is $160. Now, you will tell me if this math makes sense or no. You are investing $20 with the chance that that customer will buy $160 out of your funnel. Does that make sense? Of course it does. But the idea is that not everybody, a very, very few percentage of your people who visit your funnel will buy the total. But even if one person buys only the core offer and add to it an extra thing out of this item, you are still profitable. So the only thing that you need to pay attention to at this moment is that your average cart value needs to be greater than your cost per acquisition. That's all it matters at this moment. Now, as I mentioned, the understanding also where your break even is located is also allows you to set your prices in a very predictable way and to allow you to go even further than you think it's possible when you are investing in acquiring new customers. The other thing about building a funnel is the following elements. The funnel have to answer one single issue, has to solve one single pain, itching pain. And if you try to solve many itching pain in one time, you will not be able to succeed or optimize your funnel, because your product is intended to solve one single only thing. The idea is that once you solve that pain, then there is many problems that resolve from, it's a cascade effect. Many problems, that's what, let me represent it. So once you solve one thing, one core offer, one pain, many other pain becomes even, they are, it's a cascade of pains that will be generated. Now it is your call to either give study the number of pain that eventually your customer will face, either prepare a set of solutions and give a product that will solve all those problems, or actually build another funnel with another set of products that will satisfy or help solve those numbers of pains. That's the important thing to know, is that it is your responsibility as a marketer, as a product owner, to if you can't solve the pain, then at least put people in the right direction in terms of how they can solve it. There's some example about that is, for example, when you buy the ClickFunnels, when you buy a ClickFunnels, there is a lot of problem in terms of technicalities of how you're gonna be able to set the custom the domain, and how you're gonna do this or how you're gonna do that. So there is a lot of people that offer actually they tell you, okay, you come, you buy, you subscribe through my link, and I will give you a tutorial that will solve this problem. And this tutorial that we're doing actually is part of that logic. Now, the other thing is that the call to action needs to be clear. So you have to have a clear call to action. So you cannot make a sale without having a call to action. So the call to action needs to be over here, extremely clear, so people know exactly what to do, and in each step you have to follow up with them. Another gold nugget that I can tell you is that one of the most important elements to make people extremely comfortable in buying from you is the fact to put videos of yourself describing the next step. So once people they subscribe here, they are automatically directed to a video here. Let's put, they are directed to a video here, and the video will tell them exactly of yourself. It's a, let's call it an instruction video, instruction video. So this instruction video, it tells people what to do exactly in the next step, in case if they don't like the product, what to do, in case if they want to return, what to do, in case if they want to purchase more, what to do. So you address all the eventual issues that may arise from that purchase, and then you drive them to the next step, which is the core offer. This is a great golden nugget that not everybody does, but it increases the chance of purchasing and avoiding the buying syndrome in very high level. So that's one thing. The other thing that we need to be aware of is to choose a niche. Now, everybody says you have to be careful about, you have to be aware of choosing a niche. Of course, we cannot sell without choosing a niche, because choosing a niche allows us to target based, to use similar language, and our message is congruent. So we have to use the right messaging with the right elements, because you're not going to address people who are working or doing the health industry with the same language that people who are in the financial industry. There is too much gap between the language, so the language has to be congruent, the messaging has to be congruent, and even the visuals, the pictures and the photos has to be congruent. So your niche has to be well determined. You start working with one single niche, then you expand eventually to the edges, where people start coming together to get to your offer just by word of mouth or by echo of the products, of the quality of the products that you're actually offering. The other thing that we need to be aware of is the understanding the who, and here the who is very, very important, and we cannot talk about the who without talking about building an avatar, a customer avatar of the people that you would like to target exactly. And the customer avatar, basically, it's a list of items, a list of things that represent its psychographic and geographic, and everything is related to the customer, the kind of customers that you want to target. With that, when you go and you build your campaign on Facebook, you have all the elements necessary to install, to add to your funnel, to add to your campaign, so that your campaign is set to reach the exact people that you want to talk to. There is the last element that I would like to talk here is the fact that people they don't buy the products, but people buy their way out of something. So people who goes to the gym and try to buy a membership on a gym, they don't buy to the gym to just to exercise, but they want to go to the gym either to lose weight, or to become healthy, or to become sexy, or to become more fit. So it doesn't matter, but the outcome that matters, not the product itself. So people confuse the two things. A lot of people talks more about the product than the transformation that actually happened by the product. The best example here that I can talk about is the Gillette experience and how they present their products. They are not selling actually Gillette. They don't, when you see their commercial, they don't sell the blades. They sell the transformation that happened to you when you shave and you have a better relationship with your partner. So that's what they actually sell. So the other elements I would like to address in here is the psychology of sell. And there is few elements that are extremely important that we need to talk about. And they are, to start with based on the impulsive buyer. So what is the impulsive buyer? So let me ask you a question. Did you ever buy something and afterwards you thought that was just a mistake? Of course you did. Everybody did purchase something and come back home and thought that was a mistake. And it is our responsibility as a marketers to address this. I already mentioned it, this buying syndrome remorse, in terms of addressing first giving instruction videos, but also doing the follow-ups in your email sequence. Your follow-ups has to be full of energy and has to congratulate the people that you are selling them things, so they feel it, so you can cement that decision that they made, because it's all about psychology. And the more you cement, the more you confirm and you add some confirmation and validation to the person regarding the purchase, the better you will have of a return or refunds. The other element is the being conscious of the three elements of the three traits of a human being, which are fear, greed, and curiosity. And here it is very important to instrumentalize these three elements in your funnel, of course, because they are native in human beings. So in terms of fear, who among us never had a feeling of fear, especially if you see a good opportunity and you want to jump on it right away in order to not to lose it. The curiosity aspect is also very important. People tend to be very curious. If you try to hide something from them, people tend to do everything possible to find out what's that thing that you actually hide. And the greed, it's the obvious one that everybody feel the urge to go that extra mile just to get that extra dollar, and it is your responsibility as a marketer to do so. This is not malicious in any way. This is considered as marketing. You have a product, and I believe you have a good product to the marketplace, and it is only your audience who will judge your product. So you do your effort to bring a good product to the marketplace, and the audience judge it, but it is your responsibility to market it the right way. Using positive expectancy, it is also very important to have on your email sequence always your soap opera. You have always that positive expectancy built into your email sequence, so people are always waiting for your next email or for your next news, what you're gonna say, what you're gonna do, especially if you give value to your audience. The power of pre-framing, and here I can't talk about the power of pre-framing without talking about the book of Predictably Irrational by I think Dan Ariely, who wrote an extraordinary book. I think he's a professor in MIT, and he had an experiment where he took one class divided into two groups, and he pre-framed the first group, pre-framed a professor as one of the leader thinker in his field, and he pre-framed that group about the professor. The second group, he pre-framed the professor as just a regular professor. Afterwards, after the lecture, they went back and they surveyed the two groups, and effectively, surprisingly enough, they found out that the group who was positively pre-framed had a very high percentage of good impression about the professor versus the other group who was pre-framed just as normal. So this tells you how pre-framing is important, and how pre-framing can play a role in turning your product around and making it successful. The last and not least element of the psychology effect the elements that we need to use in our marketing, it's based on the Robert Cialdini book, The Psychology of Persuasion, and the 6 elements of influence. So they are, I believe, reciprocity, consistency, liking, authority, the herd's mentality, and something else, I forgot it. So these 6 elements are extremely important, and I will add to it the urgency and scarcity. So all these elements, they need to be implemented right, but you cannot lie in the way you do your marketing. You cannot say that a campaign will stop tomorrow if it will stop until next week. You have to be true to what you say, and you have to implement these elements of influence in the right way, and you have to be ethical about it. Thank you so much for listening until the end. Tomorrow we'll talk about another aspect of marketing. Until that, thank you so much, and talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.